getting it right. And very soon, I think, and I'm believing when we get to the games proper, something extraordinary will happen there.
Well, let's talk about size. I mean, you've met some of our colleagues out there already who are settled with their respective teams. Obviously, some have bigger numbers and all of that. We have a relatively small size of a team. Does that have any sort of psychological telling on because sometimes presence also does a lot to the psyche of these athletes, presence and look and feel and all of that.
I think every country goes with their strength. For instance, if you take a look at France, for instance, you're talking in excess of 500 athletes, and you can also look at that and then say that because of that, it should be able to scare you. But they're looking at where they can maximize their strength there, and every country goes in with that. Jamaica may not come with a big size, but of course they know their strength. You take a look at Kenya, Ethiopia, and the rest. They may not come with a huge number, but they obviously get their strength from the long distances and, of course, the short distances maybe. So we are also looking at our strength. And remember, it's been boxing throughout since 1960s when we started appearing in the Weight Olympics and the rest. And so it's either boxing or even athletics. And the likes of Alexander, Michael Hayes, and Rosat, they've always made us proud by way of picking up medals in the short distances or other sports. So I'm thinking that we always have to look at our strength first before we think about the numbers. But you can go with a huge number and come up with nothing. You can go with a smaller number and come up with something. So for me, it's not really about the numbers. It's about where you pick your strength and what you're able to do.
And talk about strengths and where we draw our competitive advantage, if you may put it that way, or where we can draw our history. Tell me, where you stand. I mean, from your perspective, first of all, as a journalist, that boxing, for instance, which is supposed to be our strength, did not show. I mean, it's like saying that Jamaica could not show, in the sprints.
Three opportunities. The Senegal Championship, we couldn't make it. We had the opportunity in Italy. Obviously, we also went there. We couldn't qualify from there. And then there was a Thailand opportunity also for the team. And it's one issue we definitely need the opportunity to address as to how we prepare our athletes or we pick our boxers and what are the techniques and the coaching abilities that we need to give them. I mean, I know if you're in Strasbourg, the center where we are practicing, or the Prep Center for Resource Expertise in Sports Performance, as I speak to you, there are kids of between 10 years and 11 years who are currently going through a camping for handball. I wouldn't be surprised that back in 2028, you see some of them in the national team. So it's about planning and timing. And I think that surprisingly, yes, this time we're not going there with boxers, but we are making do with our swimmers and, of course, our track and field. Maybe, hopefully, 2028, we'll get it right, and then we go with our boxers again. Maybe it's a learning curve for us to sit back and plan things better than we have done in the past.
We'll come to the bits about lessons that you personally have learned, when it comes to organization and when it comes to, getting ourselves ready for this very big stage. But let's throw the focus on the host nation a bit and look at what we can draw from this side of the world. I mean, Ghana is coming from hosting the whole African continent. I mean, we hosted Africa's version of the Olympics not too long ago. Tell me, what you have seen when it comes to organization, when it comes to fluidity of plan, and when it comes to execution as well for big days or big moments or big months in global sports like these.
That's it. I mean, Olympic Games is like a World Cup. It's hosted every 4 years, and you know that when you are choosing to host the competition, you get to know it after the previous games. And so I would say that France has really invested a lot into this competition. You remember how much money they spent in the River Seine to just get it ready for the events that will be hosted there. You also talk about how the Eiffel Tower has been really, really modified to ensure that some games are hosted there. So they really invested a lot. And for instance, talk about tickets pricing. We've had close about over 8 million people subscribing to buy tickets to come and watch these Olympic Games. That's surpassing the record back in 1996 at Atlanta. So it tells you that there are a lot of people who have shown interest in being here in Paris to witness the Olympic Games. And the country is now resting on their horse. They're making sure security is safe. They're making sure that if you talk about the hospitality industry is also in full swing here. So there's a lot at stake here, and the country is really getting ready to host. Strasbourg is pretty much quiet though, but I know that Paris is the place where everybody's going to center their attention.
So, from all this, analysis that you're doing, what would you say regarding, the readiness of mind for future, projections such as these, as in African countries or countries that may be, aiming at doing or aiming at putting themselves up to host events such as these, and what it can do to the global look and feel, the nation's brand and its economy in general.
Just witnessed the Euros being hosted in Germany. Strasbourg is a neighboring country to Germany. We're having this conversation, and I'm sitting in the camp with the team. We just visited some places here. Transportation is key. When you sort your transportation out, it makes it easy. And I think that European countries are interconnected based on transportation. That is not something we find it difficult here in Africa. So for me, it's about resources. It's about making sure financially you are very stable to ensure that you give your people what they deserve. You remember there are a lot of economic issues all over the place, and of course, France is not isolated. But this game is really bringing them together, and they're looking forward to it. It's summer, obviously, and so I think that it has to do with your resources, economic power, and what you want to achieve. But one of the key ingredients here is to make sure that your transportation is and that's exactly what it is. We've been here, we've been moving up and down. We haven't had any difficulties regarding transportation. And like I said earlier, right now, we went out, we are in a Trump moving up and down, and it hasn't been easy for everybody. So I think that if there's anybody or any country that really want to get themselves involved in hosting any competition, financial strength, economic stability, and of course, transportation is one key that will drive you.
Let's talk about the opening ceremony. Some years ago, and I would want to give a big shout to my brother George Quay. George Quay, the CEO of Image Bureau, who used to be the host of Showbiz A to Z. George Quay mentioned a concept like this for me, for one of our top-end artists, to have something like this, under the Adomi Bridge. And I thought it was a brilliant concept, but I kept thinking about how it could be, achieved and how it could be, executed. I kept picturing it in my mind, and now finally someone has done this, and the local organizing committee of the Paris Olympic Games has thought it, prudent and wise to do something like this for a spectacle. Obviously, everybody wants to make a case, and this has to be a very big improvement upon the previous games. The fact that it's going to be on the river is something amazing, isn't it? I'm sure many of your colleagues as well are talking about this ahead of time with a week to go.
Yeah, and listen, the fact that teams are going to be on the boats in that river is even incredible. Yesterday we had a meeting and we picked up Paul Amo and who's your boy as our flag bearers, and they were just asking questions really, how's the boat's going to be like? Is it going to be big? But I tell you what, for Team Ghana, 5 of our athletes will be on that boat. And obviously, you look at the number of countries and, of course, athletes, then you decide which of the boats you'll be in. But that's very, very amazing. Remember, it is one significant tourist attraction here in France if you get to Paris. And obviously, the organizing members decided that, listen, we want to make it more iconic. That the Eiffel Tower is also there. You also remember the Statue of Liberty. It was really a gift from France to the US, and the US decided to make it very gigantic there. But there's a mini one here in Paris, the Statue of Liberty, which obviously is also on that river. So it's very iconic. It more symbolizes a lot of things for people to be on it. So to have that idea or that opportunity to be on that river alone, it's something I can't wait to see it. The world over is really looking forward to see how it's going to be like. And the fact that we got to have Ghanaian athletes on that river as well, on that boat, that is very amazing. So. And
on the other side of things, I want, maybe I just got a concept. Maybe when you turn 40, you would have it, under the Independence Monument, with lights and all of that. Think about it and start preparing for it. You have to start saving money for it.
I'm sure we'll look forward to hosting something. Speaking to Flower and the rest, they are hoping that we can have something big in Ghana for Africa, maybe an African meet in the future. That way we'll be able to invite a lot of countries to come in. And just as like I said, in the Trump right now, and myself and the team, we're trying to find our way out and see the city of Strasbourg before we leave for Paris tomorrow. And so by 10:45 a.m., we are leaving for Paris to officially start preparation.
All right, so Rose Yeboah is also with you, and yeah, there we go. Rose, good to see you, and congratulations on also landing that very important role of being a flag bearer for Ghana at the Olympic Games. First of all, tell me what that means for you as a young athlete going to be the flag bearer for your nation at the Olympic Games.
I mean, it feels good. Being the first Ghanaian female high jumper to represent my country is such a great achievement. So I think it feels good to be part of the flag bearers, and I'm also happy about that because this is my first time. I mean, getting into the boats and on water. So I feel it's such a great achievement for me.
Tell me about your experience in France so far. I mean, the atmosphere, what you've been up to in terms of just warming yourself up for eventual competition. How has it been so far for you? It's summer weather. I know, I mean, over here and in other places you've witnessed proper summer.
Yeah, everything is going on well, but as you said, it's a little warm here, so but we are managing and everything is good. Practice is going on well. At least I get my workout from my coach every Sunday, so we make sure the workout is through the week, and the coaches is also helping me with that, and everything is going on smoothly.
Let's talk about you and my listeners, my viewers, everybody wants to get into your mind. I mean, you're a top performer, you are a big achiever for Ghana, and one of the things we're always wondering is, in moments like these, we have a number of days to go. A week from now, competition begins. But what's been going on in your mind in these past few days that anytime you lay your head on your pillow, what are some of the things that go through your mind? Everybody would be interested in knowing.
I mean, like going into a competition like this, everybody mindset into the competition is to, I mean, go in there, do their best, and also qualify for the finals. So, like anytime I'm going into a competition, I make sure I picture everything in mind, and so that whenever I get into the pit, like I see whatever I'm going to do over there, so that it doesn't make any different to me. So I feel it's something that I always do. Like I always imagine it in my mind. So as soon as I get into the pit, it looks simple for me.
Let's also talk about let's remain a bit on the mindset thing and getting yourself ready. Let's throw back to the African Games where you took that very big leap. Now you were at home. The home fans were very expectant. The numbers were there. So obviously the atmosphere was comfortable for you. Tell me what you told yourself a few moments before you started taking those big confidence strides to do that big leap. That day when you set that record and eventually won the gold for Ghana at the African Games.
I mean, during the African Games, I feel like it wasn't like a competitive competition because like all those that I was jumping with, like I wasn't really I was expecting like better high jumpers, even though I'm not saying they are not better. By then I wanted like high jumpers so that I can at least compete with and put up a better performance. But then in the African Games, I feel like it was fun though, and I went into the competition with like a sound mind, I said, and I mean, I went into the competition to have fun. It was fun, so that was it.
Yeah, great stuff. We'll be talking about the NCCA championships, but before that, I'm just reminding everyone that we're having a conversation with our athletes there, getting themselves ready and getting themselves ready for the very big one. I'm talking about the opening of the Olympic Games. Rosie Yeboah is a high jumper, looking forward to making impact for Ghana. Remember, Rosie Yeboah is also going to be a flag bearer. Things are a little different this time because of the format of the opening ceremony, which will be done on a river. Everybody will be looking forward to it, and it sure is a very big statement for France, to the rest of the world. Now, Rose, tell me about the NCCA Championships as well. How you managed to achieve that feat, and whether it even came as any surprise to you yourself, if you knew you could do as much as you did.
During the NCAA championships, it was really a competitive event because everybody was there to, compete and make the qualifying standard to the Olympics. And I wasn't really there was no pressure on me because I saw most of the female high jumpers that I always compete with. I saw plenty of them. Even the girl that I tied up with, I competed with her in the World Athletics Championship, like World University Games, in which went on in China, and she came second and I came first. By then we were competing with each other. It was just a competitive event, and I heard she was once the champion for the World University Games. So maybe she came into the competition that nobody can beat her. So when I had the first position, I don't know what she was thinking about though, but I think maybe she thought it wise that she has gotten a competitor. So I met her at the NCA, and then I knew she was coming up with something, like, because all the season, like in US, when our season begins, we traveled and compete in many games before the actual NCA event. So her performance was really massive as compared to mine, because she progressed in every competition that she goes, and mine too. It's a little bit like, let's say I will do my best this competition, and the other one maybe I'll put up a lower performance, and some is always some comes with how the weather looks like. So during the NCA, I heard from my coach that she said she's coming to win. So when I heard that, I also put that in mind that if I jumped with her during the World University Games and she's coming here with the motive of winning, then I must also made my mind to win as well. So I didn't lose up. I went all out and then competed with her, even though it was really a competitive event. By then, everybody wanted the win, so I went for it. By then, we tied up.
Okay, interesting stuff there. Very, very interesting. So talk about that as well. Inspiration is one very big thing, and I'm interested in knowing which places you draw your inspiration from. I mean, do you have people who speak to you from time to time? Are there people whose voices you hear over and over again when maybe you are in your quiet space? Where do you draw the strength and the inspiration from? And especially at this time when you have such a major, event and, so many expectations, weighing on your shoulders.
I've been, ever since I came into the States, I've been practicing with my coach, and all the time he has been motivating me to do this, do that, and I think it's working perfectly for me. And with his advice, I feel like I'm beginning to, capture everything that he tells me during practice and the workout that he's giving to me. I feel like that is always motivating and inspiring me to do greatness.
Greatness indeed. Okay, so you've spoken about the competition you're expecting. You've spoken about inspiration and you've spoken about what you've been up to so far. So we've got, I'm told that the team is traveling into Paris later today. What will be the plan? I mean, would there be any major shake-ups? Would there be any warm-ups in the final week ahead of the start of competition?
Hold on. She's actually moved out.
Okay.
So
Good. Yeah.
We are moving into a place. So sorry, I had to quickly help her out.
Very well. Good. Now, I was asking about the rest of the plan for the rest of the the 5 to 7 or 5 days. Okay, because obviously the opening ceremony is on Friday. So what then will be the plan? In terms of doing final shake-ups and all of that for the athletes.
Yeah, so there'll be a little bit of a shake-up today. And then, like I said, tomorrow at 10:45 a.m., we leave for Paris. So the rest of the team, apart from myself, Rose, and Harry, Stacy, and then the officials, we came out today to have a little walk in Strasbourg. The men are currently in their rooms resting because of the trip back to the Games Village. And obviously, when we get to the Games Village, they would also start the proper, planning and then knowing the practice they want to put across. But now, to be honest with you, the guys have been very professional. Joe Paul, the captain, has been speaking, and one of the things Joe Paul has done, which inspires me a lot, that he speaks a lot to Rose and make sure that she's a very, very good frame of mind. She's the very first time that Rose is going to perform at the Olympic Games at high jump, Ghanaian female for that matter. And I don't think historically we've seen that happening ever since we started competing at the Olympics back in the 1960s. So a lot of weight is on her, but we're looking forward to see what happens. I know that with the support from the likes of Fuseni, the likes of Ochio, Joe Paul, she can make it the way we want it. Like I said, if you pick the World Athletics ranking, she's in the first 10. I mean, there are about 5 athletes who jump 1.97. And so she's not left out in terms of the ranking. And it comes to the 4x100 meters at the World Athletics ranking. Ghana is ranked 10th among the top teams. 10th, I should tell you. So being in medal zone is something we can. So if the quartet are ranked 10th in the world going into Olympic Games, nothing stops us from getting to the medal zone. And then, of course, Rashid Saminu is also one of the fastest athletes in camp right now, 10.02 seconds. So he's more seen as a pin-up boy by his colleagues in camp currently. So I would be honest with you, the team is poised and they're looking forward to making it to the medal zone.
Interesting stuff there. Let's get into your job for a bit. I mean, one of the messages I've gotten, I'll be reading some messages. I've just spotted one message in my personal line, which talks about yourself and how demanding the job of a press attaché for a whole team would be for a major tournament, such as this. I doubt you've had too much sleep because everybody will be calling and trying to get a piece of you.
Yeah, I mean that's like saying that you're the media liaison officer, so you get messages or requests from media, domestic or international media houses. Since we got here, we've had what I call the media day, where we had the opportunity of getting some media institutions from France to come and speak to the athletes. We had France 3, a TV station. We have the France Bleu, another radio station, very top radio stations here. They've come to camp. They've had the opportunity of speaking to the athletes. They're excited. They've done a lot of feature stories on Ghana. And they even drew a comparison about the number of athletes. And I started laughing. But to be honest, it's been an amazing time. And that's my job, ensuring that the athletes are focused. My job is to manage information flow. My job is to ensure that these athletes are well prepared for the competition. But I have to be honest with you, we're here because the deputy mayor of Strasbourg, who is in charge of sports development and infrastructure, Nat is a Ghanaian. His name is Honorable Tufo. It was through his instrumentality that the team is in Strasbourg and at a place called Krebs Center, where the team is working out. And of course, getting support from the French embassy. And then, of course, Ghana Olympic Committee ensuring that we are here. So, kudos and credit to the deputy mayor of Strasbourg as well. But like I said, my job is to ensure that these athletes are well managed in terms of information, ensuring that whatever information they give out is accurate. It is aimed at giving them positive reviews and ensuring that they are not caught up in any negative stuff that will distract them, that will not make them perform the way they want to perform. And so this is something I'm trying to do. And of course, like I said, with the support from you guys, we've been able to do it well.
Great stuff. So that then brings us as well to the issue of reward, the issue of these issues of allowances and all of that always come up when we find ourselves in these kinds of spaces. Now, about a week and a half ago, I mean, just before you embarked, on this journey, it came up at a certain point. And obviously, it's looking like every other time when a Ghanaian team is taking part in a major competition like this conversation will come up because there are expectations on the part of the athletes and there are expectations, on the part of Ghanaians as well. The authorities as well also have their own expectations. What then is the plan so that the focus doesn't drift from focusing on performance and getting the job done? Because we've seen it happen before in our history and it hasn't gone too well. It's not only Ghana. I mean, we've had issues that have come with our friends and our brothers and sisters in Nigeria. We've had similar stories from our brothers and sisters in Cameroon and all of that. What's the plan regarding that so that it does not become a subject, and for that matter, an unfortunate subject?
Absolutely, you're right. And so I do recall that when it comes to the per diems for these athletes, for us here, when we started the pre-games and going to the Olympic Games, I know the budgets have been approved. And so the expectation is that as soon as the team gets into Paris tomorrow, and all that needed to be given to them will be sorted out amicably. Now, the other conversation we have to do with rewards in terms of if they're able to get to the medal zone or perhaps if they're able to win a medal. That conversation is also being discussed there by the stakeholders in terms of the Ghana Olympic Committee, the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and of course, the government. So these athletes are aware that when it comes to anything close to their per diem, it's not a problem at all. So the other conversation in terms of the elevation of it is what will be the reward system if eventually we're able to win a medal. And I'm sure by tomorrow, and as soon as we have our final meeting as we get to the Games Village, the athletes will be made aware what is at stake for them. So we haven't really have any problem. Like I said, the athletes are in good spirits. They've been practicing. One of the stories that came out obviously was about what happened to the African Games and Bahamas and of course Douala. That was a conversation which obviously led to people believing that these athletes were talking about their bonuses. But as far as we are concerned here in Strasbourg, there hasn't been any conversation regarding that bonus or anything. But if there's any conversation towards that, it has to do with what happened at the African Games and, of course, the Douala and Bahamas. So, like I said, for the Olympic Games 2024, the per diems of the athletes, the budget has been approved. Yesterday, we had a meeting. Joe Paul even asked the question that, okay, so what's up? And we're like, oh, for that one, you don't have a problem. We get to Paris and you sort it out. They were excited. They were like, okay, no problem. So they are in good spirit to get to Paris and obviously be happy with that. But beyond that, I have to tell you, Nat, that these athletes have been focused. If you see the training regimes they've been going through, personally, the bond that exists, they are always happy. Like I said, today we are here in the city of Strasbourg, the Ghanaian community coming to visit, lending their support to ensure that the team is well prepared and well, mentally in shape for the competition. It's amazing. So I would say that conversation in terms of the per diems, I know is being sorted out. The reward aspect of if they win a medal, how much is being given, that conversation is also being decided on.
Being decided on, but not finalized. Is that the case?
As I speak to you, I haven't received any information that has been finalized. So what I know is that reward aspect in terms of if you win a bronze medal, how much you'll be given. If you win a silver, it's still being decided. And I'm sure by the time we get to Paris tomorrow, going into the opening ceremony, that will be sorted out.
Benjamin, can you share with us what these camps or these training camps do from your perspective and from your experience, from your experienced point of view, what these training camps do for getting our athletes in the right state of mind for maximum performance? And I'm asking this question obviously because of the challenges we've had with some other teams and late arrivals at tournaments, and not getting enough, proper camping, which has good monitoring and all of that. Walk us through what you see and why this should become a big priority and a big point of focus for organizing our teams to go out there to go and perform.
Yeah, I mean, remember 4 years ago in Tokyo, there was a training camp, a pre-training activity in Hinawashiro for Team Ghana. And so the boxers spent a lot of time there. Because of the time zones and the travel differences, some of our athletes were not able to make it to the pre-games. But here in Strasbourg, as I indicated earlier on, the French embassy played a really enormous role to ensure that the team was here, together with the deputy mayor of Strasbourg as well. Now, when the athletes came in, they have realized that it's been very beneficial. They've had enough time to prepare, enough time to acclimatize with the system or the temperature, the weather condition of France, the food, the water, everything that has to do with France, they have witnessed it. And so 100 meters away from us here in Strasbourg, where we are training, Panama is also here in Strasbourg, preparing for the competition. So it tells you that everybody that wants to be in Paris needed to be here early to prepare for the competition. So I am saying it's very important for these athletes. And like I said, Krebs has offered us that opportunity to use their facilities to the optimum. And of course, when we get to Paris, the athletes themselves know that they can get it. When you speak to them, they're like, listen, guys, we know that the guys are going to meet on the tracks. We know the guys we're going to meet them. We've run with them. But their excitement, Nat, is the fact that if you look at the ranking, we're not doing badly at all. So they believe that once they get there, they get the right momentum and they get into Paris proper, they definitely will get a chance to make Ghana proud.
Well, if you just joined us, we're here having a conversation on Ghana at the Olympic Games and what the expectations are, what the realistic expectations are, and whether or not we can make any considerable impact. Speaking to us from Strasbourg in France, from the camp of Team Ghana, is the press attaché to the team, Benjamin Willie Graham. Earlier, we spoke to Rosie Aboa, who is the high jumper, the first female high jumper to achieve this feat of participating in or qualifying to participate in the Olympic Games. And we've been going through a couple of aspects of organization of Team Ghana's participation in the games. Now, Willie, I want you to also give us a fair idea of how thorough Ghana's team appearance is, or Ghana's team setup is. There are various aspects of putting a team together for major events such as these. Sometimes we fall short because of, at the end of the day, budget. Okay, so who do we have? I want you to break it down for us. Who we have in terms of technical support, and other aspects of the team's participation in the games.
All right, so we have the chef de mission, Mr. Isaac Abwajidia. He's here with us. He's the leader of delegation. We also have accreditation officer, Adam. He's also there ensuring that by the time the team gets into the games village, all the accreditation issues are sorted out. We have a team doctor, Dr. Ernest from Kolebu. He's here with us. We also have a team nurse. And then, of course, we have a physiotherapist who's also been working with the athletes. And so these are the people we have here in terms of the other support staff. The coach, Professor Andrew Wusu, is here with Salamatu, who's also working out with the track and field team. And then we also have Coach Potenu, who's also from swimming. So Harry, Stacy, and Giselle, they also have their coach here. So that's the component of Team Ghana currently here. The other, what we call team leaders, so maybe Athletics Association, they also have a team leader who's going to join us together with swimming. They'll be joining us later on. So to be honest with you, these are the officials who are here with us for Team Ghana.
Let's talk about the let's talk about the swimmers. Okay, let's throw a bit of focus on the swimmers. Well, obviously this is not our first time appearing in swimming. We've had Abeku Jackson and his team members, but these two swimmers, these two young swimmers, are debutants at the games. How are they being managed? It's a very big stage, and personally, from a very technical perspective, I'm looking at having them have the experience first at first hand, and then we can look at performance at subsequent games. But what then does it represent for them, young as they are, and greenhorns as they are, on a stage like this, just like Rosie Aboa, the high jumper?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. these are very young swimmers. They competed at the African Games, made some very good times. And everybody would want to see a big who's gathered a lot of experience here. However, we're told that the wild card, if you're not able to make it through the normal qualification process, there's a wild card opportunity for us. And in terms of our swimming opportunities, we've used the wild cards in most cases. And Abeku is entitled to 2 of them, and he's used the wild cards. And so if you exhaust the 2 opportunities, the next time is given to others. And of course, this year it fell to Harry Stacey and Giselle. And that's the reason the 2 of them are here to compete. And they're very much calm. I remember I had a team coming here to take pictures and videos of Ghana's team, and they went out to swim to their swimming practice area, and they came back telling me that, hey, guys, these guys are very fast in the water. I started laughing, and then Harry started laughing. And so Harry speaks to you, and Joseph speaks to you. They've competed in the European Championship with some of the top swimmers, and of course, you're looking forward to meeting them in the water as well. I mean, like, as I said, it's a learning curve, it's a new opportunity, it's a new ground for them, but they are very calm about it. They are not really put under any pressure. Like I said, being an Olympian is a huge advantage. But then Ghana is doing well when it comes to swimming. We haven't really attained the sort of height that we expect to attain, but at least getting that stride or moving into that area and getting swimmers to represent Ghana at the swimming events at the Olympic Games is something massive. And so they're looking forward to seeing what they can produce from other Ghana. And then when they get there, they're hoping that they will be mentally ready, physically ready in the water, and they hope that the water will be friendly to them as well.
Friendly water. Well, we're hoping for that one, that one as well. We're talking about, beg your pardon, the arrangements between now and Thursday, just before everything gets off to a start.
I mean, like I said, tomorrow is our day in Paris. Tomorrow is our day at the Games Village. Tomorrow is a day where these athletes get to meet their running mates, have chit-chats, have opportunities to see Azamati. Azamati is going to join us tomorrow at the Games Village after running yesterday. And so it's going to be the normal opportunities. That's some of the athletes have witnessed in various competitions. And then they get to know their timetable. They get to know when they're running. They get to know when they start preparing. They get to know exactly how things are supposed to work out for them at the Games Village. So everything starts at the Games Village tomorrow.
You went through the team, the technical team, the backroom, element. There's no presence of a psychologist, a professional psychologist. Is this a conversation that has come up, or someone else or others are playing that role, which normally should be played by, somebody who's a professional, in the space?
I tell you what, I think the team has a huge psychology, even though, yes, like you said, you want to have a neutral psychology, but if you have a 3-time Olympian as a coach, for some people, it's more of a psychological booster for you. And that's the role that Professor Andrew Wishu has been playing with these athletes, not just for the track and field, but he plays the same role for the swimmers as well. And so the experience of him being at the Olympics before on 3 occasions really has been helping the athletes in terms of how he works, talks to them, and how he motivates them, and even try to use his knowledge and his experience in the past to speak to these athletes. And so when you see his interactions with them one-on-one, it tells you that he's preparing their minds to what is available when they get to the Games Village and the events proper.
All right. So you mentioned earlier that there are 2 teams, in the city of Strasbourg. Is that right? Ghana and Panama. Is that right?
Yeah. So Hungary and Panama is also here. Even though we haven't really seen them, but we are highly informed that Panama is also 100 meters away from where we were training, the Krebs Center.
Okay. Well, tell me about, infrastructure. And once again, it's lessons that we're learning and what we can replicate here. So tell me about the training infrastructure that you've been exposed to in the city of Strasbourg alone. And I can see you grinning already.
Yeah, because, Nat, is it not amazing that the deputy mayor of this city, who is in charge of sports development infrastructure, is a Ghanaian? Isn't it amazing? Do you understand me?
Yes.
And so if you walk in there and you see the infrastructure, there's a particular athletics over what we call the Decathlon Hotipia Stadium. It's just for athletics. It has nothing to do with any other sports. Then the same area, you have the rugby stadium, about 2 or 3 of them, and then there's a football. And you remember Strasbourg is where Alexander Nijiku used to play. So they've got the Strasbourg team, they've got a huge stadium as well. So almost every corner, you get to see a certain sports infrastructure. But I tell you what, even Krebs Center, which is a sport performance center here in Strasbourg, is a place where they have the indoor athletics over, they have the handball stadium, they've got other sporting facilities here. There's even what we call the water polo swimming pool for just water polo alone. I just saw the Strasbourg basketball team and court, very big, indoor facility. So they've got all these infrastructures dotted around. And so when Team Ghana got to Krebs, it was just like being in the past, what used to be the Winnipeg Sports College. When you are there, you know that you're exposed to every sporting infrastructure that you can think of. And that's exactly what we found out in Krebs. And so for me, it's an amazing spectacle to know. And this is not the first time. I was here 2 years ago in Paris, where I visited a place called INSEP, which is where the top performers of their various federation sports personalities are sent there to train. And Strasbourg also have a similar one called the Krebs Center. So France is open to all these centers for sports development and performance, and they dwell more on performance. So when you talk about the centers, the key language is performance. Yes, you may have the infrastructure, you may have the athlete there, but what are you doing about their performance? And that is what they place emphasis on. So like I said, you should be fascinated that the man who is in charge of sports development and infrastructure of Strasbourg is a Ghanaian, Honorable Tufo.
So clearly we have. So clearly, we have minds, just like in every other sector, we have many minds scattered around the world who are making things happen in other places, clearly.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, I mean, for me, that's the fact, that's a reality. And everybody was like, wow, so this is the man in charge of sports development infrastructure in Strasbourg. Wow, we should be doing better.
Okay, so then, in your mind, what can we, what would you envisage we can learn from this model of having cities? Obviously, the economies are 2 poles apart, or 2 worlds apart in terms of the strength and what the economies can do. But in your mind, what do you feel we can replicate on our scale? Considering what our strength is, so that we can have a good spread of these facilities across the country. Because obviously, there's a lot in terms of concentration in the southern part of the country, and that's not helping.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, there's one thing putting infrastructure together, and there's one thing working on nutrition and performance. And I'm saying that, yes, we have the infrastructure. We have Boteman. It's very huge. What we need to do is have the residential facilities around it and ensure that it's an inclusive facility. But beyond that, we need to focus on the performance aspect of the athletes. Like I said, we can pick all the top performance of the various federations in terms of their sportsmen. But when you come them and you train them, what are you training them for? You are training them to perform at the highest level. And that is what I'm saying, that these facilities or these infrastructures or these areas they focus on. They focus on performance. So Krebs is a center for resource expertise in sports performance. That is the what you call it, the emphasis. If you go to INSEP is also dealing with performance. So all the top athletes are sent to INSEP to deal with their performance. The science aspect of sports is dealt with. Technology is used to help these athletes in their performance. So apart from this, yes, we may have all the infrastructure, but the emphasis should now be focused on the performance, so that when you put them there, your emphasis or your work is ensure that they perform at the optimal level.
You made mention of Benjamin Azamati, who's supposed to join the team later on. Do we have any other members of the team who are expected to join during the week, and what specific roles are they supposed to play?
So within the week, obviously, the president of the Ghana Olympic Committee, together with some team leaders, will be joining us. Beyond that, the only athlete who's joined us is Azamati, because, like I said, yesterday he had to run. And so after that, he just boarded a flight straight to Paris, and by tomorrow morning, he should be here. Beyond, again, there are the team leaders. I mentioned the Ghana Athletics Association team leader, the swimming team leader, and then I'm sure the Deputy Minister for Youth and Sports who's in charge of the National Olympic Committee, would also be here. And of course, other officials who will be playing certain roles within the space, because within the Olympics, the IOC meetings, the World Athletics meetings, and other things that'll be happening. And so let's see how it goes.
Across board, I'm sure that over the years you have monitored from a distance, some at close range, and you are looking forward to seeing the performances of some of the world beaters in various disciplines. I'm sure that you were projecting before you left Ghana, and before making plans for the body of work that you were gonna put up. You are also looking at what you will see from some key performers and some of the big points of attraction for the Olympic Games. Can you share a bit of this with us?
Yeah, I mean, if you take a look at the athletes that you want to see in this particular games, Nat, I have to be honest with you, it's certainly going to be exciting because, for instance, the 100 meters race, for instance, has got some very interesting names in there. And the thinking was that you're going to see the performance of the Americans. But here we go. You have, top athletes, Keisha Thompson from Jamaica. He's currently number one. And then we talk about our brother from Kenya. That's Ferdinand Omanyala. He's currently ranked second. Then you have Oblique Seville from Jamaica as well. Now the Americans, if you take a look at Noah Lyles and of course Christian Coleman, they are on 4th and 5th on the rankings. And of course Benjamin Richardson from South Africa. And so the names that you definitely are hoping to see there are athletes who have really made the mark and looking forward to blasting things off. It's going to be a very interesting race there when it comes to 100 meters heat and of course the semifinals and the finals. But the expectation was to see the Americans dominating, but the Jamaicans really showing some level. But hey, for me to see Kenya, Omanyala in there, wow, that's massive.
And the Kenyans have always come to the party when it comes to long distance. I mean, the Kenyans, the Ethiopians, and they have not left that space for anybody to join.
Yeah, I mean, you always know the Kenyans for the long distance, but for them to come to the short distance, it tells you that there's something that they're doing that is really working out for them, because Omanyala is really dominating when it comes to the African side of the competition. And now at the world stage, he's just blasting almost everybody. So it clearly gives you an indication that we have a lot to pick up from these Kenyans, and I don't know what they're doing there. Nigeria, remember in the past, also used to come in very strong there when it comes to the 100 meters. Here, but like I said, for now, it's happening that the Kenyans are trying to rush shoulders with the Jamaicans and the US team. But I believe that our team can also make some marks there going forward.
When you mentioned Kenya and how they are venturing into the shorter distances, I was just picturing, a day when a Kenyan team can venture into the sprint and make it. That will be something else, wouldn't it? It will be interesting.
I mean, they're already doing it. 4x400, 4x100, they're just doing it. I mean, recently when I was watching the Bahamas competition, to be honest with you, I was blown away when I saw India in the 4x400 meters running a certain distance. I just found out that, listen, one of the top sports science doctors is been employed in India to work on them. And listen, the guys are coming. So there's no time to joke at all. So if India is doing better when it comes to 4x400, qualifying to Olympics in that race, and they came behind, I think, Jamaica or so, my brother, people are really working.
Great point you've made there. And talk about that. Are there any other major surprises you are expecting personally from any of the other disciplines based on the subtle, sentimental surprises that you're expecting from Team Ghana, and others, any other surprises from any other countries in some of the disciplines?
Wow, I mean, you want to see, I want to see Rose do something amazing at these Olympic Games. I also want to see the 4x100 meters team get to the medal zone. Honestly, I want to see them do something special. Remember, when it comes to football, Ghana didn't make it. Zambia is there. Nigeria is equally represented here. So we want to see how the African teams, especially when it comes to women's football, these teams fare. But at the end of the day, it's all about and not to be honest with you, it's all about the condition. The athlete must be well conditioned for their events, and we're hoping to see that they get to the main athletics overall, and they don't get overawed by the sheer volume of spectators. But obviously, they know that it's a stake. A lot of things are at stake for them, and they want to make Ghana proud. But like I said, it's one day at a time, and I'm expecting this team to do better.
Well, we're going to be coming back to you for your final thoughts before we wrap up the conversation. But we've also managed to reach the president of Ghana Athletics here. He's not in the capital at the moment, getting other things done. And, he's got thoughts to share with us. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Bafuseni.
Thank you very much, Matt. I really enjoyed your conversation with Graham and Rose. It's a fantastic program this afternoon.
Thank you so much. Now let's get into the. We've had a few conversations. I mean, we've had two major conversations before now, and from where you sit, how much satisfaction do you have? I mean, our level of organization, how the athletes are falling in, and how we're all looking forward to Paris.
Thank you very much, Nat. This time around, the organization and the preparation, the relationship between the Ghana Olympic Committee and the Ghana Athletics and the ministry has been so well. I mean, I couldn't be a happier person than what I am now. But whatever there's any other issue that comes out, within a day or within a few hours, we got those things sorted out. Just what Graham was explaining about the last 2 weeks or last week of publication about the per diem and no bonuses issue, that it got people confused as whether it was the Olympic issue or the African Championship or Bahamas issue. I mean, whereas with me and Chef de Mission and Graham, just one conversation and those things were sorted out. And the athletes are very, very comfortable with Coach Andre Wusu and Sarah. And the bond between the athletes is just amazing. They are so glued together and they respect their captain, Joseph Poramua, to the extent that you hardly see that the athletes are not from one camp or they are not from one state or even from one coach. For me, that gladdens my heart to see them at that level. And let me add that this is one of the fastest 400 we have ever assembled for these games. And I have so much confidence and hope in this athlete that they will make it to the finals. And after the finals, then we will pray for at least a podium performance. But if you look at their rankings now, 10th in the world, it's not a mere achievement. And we've never assembled these athletes before. The one that does that, the team that ran in Bahamas was different, and the team that ran in Douala was different. But we have beefed up the Bahamas team with addition of Samini, who is our fastest athlete now. And this team, I wouldn't be surprised this team at the finals what they would do in the finals. What I'm just praying is that maybe we also need to have a conversation to award them for qualifying or even for reaching the finals, because it's not an easy task to get to the Olympic finals. And what is the reward for the athletes for getting to the finals and getting to the podium performance? I know when they get to the podiums, they will certainly be given something from the state. But what about if they get to the finals? That's the world stage. If somebody gets to the finals, at least we need to appreciate them. I think we can have the conversation going into the Olympics. That will also motivate the athletes.
Very well. We'll be coming to that in a bit. We'll be coming to that one in a little bit. And I would want you to also tell us about, state of mind preparing for this. I mean, you've been an athlete before, and you've had colleagues who have been on these big stages before. I'd want you to share some of the historic, perspectives with us. But before that, just remember that you're here on Joy 99.7 FM on the Joy Sports Link, and we're having a conversation with Dr. We're having a conversation with Mr. Bafuseni, who is the president of Ghana Athletics. He has overseen performances and preparations of these athletes over the period. And he also has thoughts, to share this afternoon. Also reaching and having a conversation with us from Strasbourg in France, where Team Ghana is getting ready to move over to the host city of Paris, is Benjamin Willie Graham, who is the press attaché for the team. Earlier, we also heard from Rose Yeboah, who is a member of Team Ghana. She will be one of our 2 flag bearers at Friday's opening ceremony, which we're all looking forward to. Now, Bawa, let's talk about, some of the little things that we can build up on from the past. We've had some of our teams go to the Olympics. We've had them crumble at the last minute. Some of them, having jitters and all of that. What can we learn from past experiences, especially from if you were talking to the athletes right now? What are some of the key things we can learn from experiences of their senior colleagues and those who have been there?
Thankfully, we have a 3-time Olympian there with them, Professor Andrew Usu and Joseph Palamo, also a very experienced athlete who have been to the Olympic Games, who have been to the World Championship together with Azamati. And even Coach Salah even attended 2 Commonwealth Games. So these handlers are well experienced and they have been through that. They have participated at that level. So they will know what to do or what to tell the athletes. At that level, the athletes, no matter how experienced you are, you feel at least some bit of nervousness or some bit of anxiety. Once you have an experienced coaches like Andrew Usu and Salah by them, I think they will talk to them very well. And Joseph Palamo is a well-experienced guy. When you see him run at that level, I've never seen him panic. Rose is also a unique athlete who you can hardly see him panic or see him nervous when she's going for say higher profile competition. So in short, the athletes have enough experience. They have very good, well-trained coaches to handle them, and with support from Graham and others, they should be able to withstand the pressure or the nervousness. You can't avoid nervousness at that level. What the coaches will need to do is just to talk to them, to run their own race, to be of themselves, and to show what they have or what they can do for the country. And this is the highest place that any athlete will want to be to compete. When they get to the finals, their profile goes high. Their chances of getting in international competition or international invitation with appearance fee and increasing their bonuses and their chances of getting key sponsors is very, very high. So they also know what is at stake for them individually and for the state. So that's for what I can say is that some of the athletes are well experienced and they have well experienced coaches, well experienced journalists. They will be able to take care of them, talk to them, and they should do what they can do. They shouldn't look at anybody, even though there will be names there. Graham mentioned some of them. They shouldn't look at them. What they look at to see what they can do or what they have done, how they have trained, why Ghanaians should put investments into them. And that one will take them to wherever they want to go. And I'm very sure and confident that before the finals, you see Ghana being among the best 8 teams in the world.
Solid. Is a good point you've landed on, Abawa. And considering that we've also landed the rights to host the next African Athletics Championships, it then means that these performances that we're looking forward to are not just for Paris, but for the future and for all other young athletes who are looking forward to being a part of Ghana's top athletes, top sprinters and all, right?
Yes, this 4x100s will become a symbol for Ghana athletics. Wherever I go, whoever going to ask me anything, they ask for 2 events. Is your high jumper here? Is your main relay teams here? And that is what we are going to build upon to holistically develop Ghana athletics. Even Senegal is giving us opportunity to bring our 4x4 men to come and train there. They have a high performance training center there to train there for 6 months next year. And the African Championship, I should say, is one of the events that we are going to use even to go in for a World Under 20 or Under 18 Championship if you are able to manage it, and I know we'll manage it very well. We'll host it very, very well, and that will propel us to a world stage that we can bid for well under 20 or well under 18 championship. So the African Championship, we won it partly because of the African Games. We won it partly because of the facility that we have. We also won it because of our appearance at the world stages. And Ghana 4x100 has been the representative, not for only for Ghana, for Africa. Everybody is looking up to Ghana 4x100 to make an impact at the Olympic. And I'm very sure Graham, Professor Andrew Wusu, the chef de mission, everybody in Ghana are looking forward for the impact of Ghana 4x100 at the Olympic Games. That will give us more world opportunities for us to organize more competitions, to organize more developmental programs in Ghana, just to build not only for this 4x100, but we can have several athletes that can make up the team for the 4x100.
From your point of view as one who's who's been an athlete before, tell us, and we're trying to place ourselves in the shoes of these athletes, what it means going to step on the highest stage of multi-sport event for country, for these athletes, these few athletes who have been tasked with this very big responsibility for Ghana.
Not every single athlete in the world, their aspiration is first to qualify to the Olympic Games. That's the aspiration of every single athlete. Just like footballers want to play for World Cup. If you are an athlete, then have the potential and ability to go to or to qualify for the Olympic Games, and you have not done that, then you have not fully achieved what you are out to achieve in athletics. Qualification itself is satisfactory enough. Appearing on that stage, there's no money that can buy that. The privileges, the name as Olympian, you have the title for life. Nobody can take it from you. It becomes part of you. I'm an Olympian. I was at this Olympic Games. And wherever you go, wherever the athlete go, they proudly say, I am an Olympian. I represented Ghana at this Olympics. I don't think money can buy that. That alone, or wearing your Ghana jersey with the Ghana flag, and the whole world will have a view of you just for 10 or 15 seconds. No money can buy it. And it is a privilege for everybody. I wish when I was an athlete, at least I would just wore a Ghana vest and appeared at the Olympic Games. But my ability and capability didn't take me there. But these athletes, is the best they can get in athletics.
Well. We'll be coming in for final thoughts, especially from Benjamin Graham, who has been with us from the start of the show. He is there in Strasbourg in France, where Team Ghana is getting ready to move over to the host city of Paris. Final thoughts from you, Willie Graham. Clock is ticking, moments are going, and very soon it will be time to go. I've been trying to throw back to sitting, at a place. I mean, covering the FIFA World Cup, covering, world title fights and all of that. When we're all looking forward to it, and then finally the moment is here, and for boxing, national anthems are played, and you realize, oh my goodness, time is up. It's time for performance, and you realize you are also tensed on behalf of the athletes. I don't know if you've found yourself in that place before, considering the fact that you were one of the key commentators for the last AFCON as well.
To be, if you're a Ghanaian, there's nothing that stops you from being tense, because you expect your country to do better. I mean, we've seen top commentators cry at the World Cup finals and stuff like that, because the emotion that comes to play there. And it is something natural that's going to happen. As I sit here, I'm looking forward to a wonderful spectacle. I would be so elated to come home with a medal. It happened back in Tokyo. So that's the expectation from these athletes. But I have to be honest with you. They themselves have said to us they are not going to set very unrealistic targets for themselves that will put so much pressure on them. They are going into the competition knowing the time they've made, knowing how to improve, And like I indicated to you, the world rankings alone puts Ghana in a very, very good position to be at the medal zone and perhaps come home with a medal. So that is the target that the entire country should be hoping to see. And so if we are here, and I said the 4x100 meters quartet is ranked 10th in the world going into these Olympics, nothing stops us from doing something incredible. If Rosie Abua is among the top 10 in the high jump, nothing stops us from making history in these Olympic Games. And so all we pray for is that these athletes will be in their very, very good shape, mentally, physically, emotionally. Everything has to be on point when they get onto the field. That is what all of us are seeking. Because I always say, in individual sports, a lot is at play. Nat, you can wake up feeling very grumpy, and that will mess your whole day up as an athlete, and you can't even do nothing. The wind speed can even mess you up. You can't do anything. You just need to hope that on the day, everything, all the elements will be in your favor.
Willie Graham, thank you so much, and we're looking forward to positive things in the coming weeks on the stage, and hopefully we'll have something to celebrate at a certain time during these games. Thank you so much, and we're wishing you well. But you know there's power in the green shirt, right? You know there's power in the green shirt.
But that is why you need to even motivate Ibrahim Husseini Absu 2019.
Oh,
and
great!
He is here in France. It's first Olympic Games. So we need to absolutely celebrate and support Ibrahim Husseini. He's part of the quartet.
Great. So I'm delivering, a speaking session at the college this week, and I will hammer on it like crazy. Look, do pray for him. The pro and charisma people will pray for him.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. Benjamin Willie Graham is the press attaché for the national team, and you would have final thoughts as well from Mr. Bawa Husseini, and then we'll touch on a very controversial subject that has just come up before we wrap it up. Bawa, the clock is ticking. Next week by now, we'd all have our fingers crossed.
Yeah, thank you very much. Just like what Graham said, after nervousness and tension, I remember in Bahamas when we were running the final race, some of the coaches couldn't watch us. They have to close their eyes. I was sitting in the stadium watching the boys run. Not, I can tell you, my legs were shaking. So the athletes sometimes they have the capacity to absorb this kind of pressure. And what I can only pray that nothing at all should happen to the athletes. They should go to the Olympic Games devoid of injuries, and they should just leave the money issue to the managers. They will look for the money for them. What we are expecting them, just for them to go and perform and be on themselves, and the whole gang will appreciate them.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bawa Husseini. We wish you well, and we are praying that we can all count some very big gains, during the coming weeks. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Just about 8 minutes to wrap up the show, but we've just picked up some information. Good afternoon to you, Notedua. Notedua is the host of Ultimate Health. He attended Infantsipim School. Huh? I always like to add that. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Francis Doku, who's an immediate past general manager of 3 Group under the Media General Network. We've managed to reach the president of the African Paralympic Committee, who is also in France. Now, he's also the National Paralympic Committee president for Ghana. Now, this is what has come up. Now, there's a letter we've intercepted in-house, and this is from the Ministry of National Security, signed by the Minister for National Security, Honorable Albert Kandapa. And the heading is Ghana Paralympic Team absconds upon arrival in Oslo. Let me just go through this quickly. Reports indicate that the absconding members of the Ghana Paralympic Team to other Schengen states following their arrival in Oslo, Norway on 25th April 2024 for the Bergen City Marathon. Now, it was gathered that the 11-member team failed to register and participate in the competition slated for April 27, 2024. Further, Nanenchi, a team member, was apprehended and detained on April 26, 2024 by Norwegian security officials for attempting to depart Norway to Sweden on a one-way train ticket. Consequently, the Norwegian embassy in Accra issued alerts to other Schengen and Western diplomatic missions in Accra and the European Border Coast Agency as part of efforts to apprehend and repatriate the team members. Relatedly, George Jemfi Jesse, the team coach, collapsed on April 28 and was admitted at the Oslo University Hospital, and he passed away, unfortunately, on May 17. And there are developments that have the potential to hinder the future of Ghana's sporting contingents. And this is addressed to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration and the Ministry of Youth and Sports. So let me just quickly go to Mr. Samson Dean. We've got just about 4 minutes to wrap this up. And there's a following letter as well that has come up. And this is from the, this is from the Ghana Paralympic Committee, and it's a letter of indefinite suspension, and it has Mr. Theodore Mauli Viwoto, Mr. Ernest Yao Eisi, and the NST Foundation. Let's just go to the president of the Ghana Paralympic Committee for explanation on this letter of suspension. Thank you very much, Mr. Samson Dean, for your time this afternoon.
Thank you very much, Nat. How are you?
I'm great, and I hope you are faring well there in France.
Yes, I'm very, very fine. We are preparing for the African Station fan zone opening tonight. So I received a call from Benaya that you wanted to speak to me regarding this particular issue from the national security. Nat, let me take this opportunity to say hi to your listeners and viewers and salute all Ghanaians, and then wish the Olympic team very well. I know you don't have enough time. What I would like to say is that the Ghana Paralympic Team, one, have not sent anybody, have not sent any athlete, have not written a letter, have not applied for a visa, we have never applied for a visa at the Norwegian embassy. The Ghana Paralympic Committee have not sent anybody, any athlete, any official, any human, a Ghanaian, to the Norwegian embassy or even to get a visa to travel to Norway. The Ghana Paralympic Committee have no intention and have ever had any intentions of even attempting or even trying to participate in an event which is an Olympic or which is a Paralympic qualifier in Norway or Oslo. The letter from the national security fine is good. It came from the Norwegian embassy, which reported that an application have passed through the embassy. The embassy had issued visas to some people. Let me say that upon our checks, upon receiving this document from the Ministry of Sports, we engaged, we checked, and then we realized that the letter was written, forged. They forged my signature, forged my letter, and applied for a visa for some people who are not athletes, who are not individuals associated with
Okay, before you go on, Mr. Samson Dean, they forged your letter. Who are they, the they you refer to?
Theodore Mauli Viwoto, who is the former Secretary General of the Ghana Amputee Football Association, and Ernest Eisi, who is the founder of NST Foundation. Upon reaching out to them, we asked them how they got my signature and how they got my letter. They indicated one of the persons who are listed in the letters that I have forwarded to you, called Adongo, is the one who found my letter, forged all the signature. And where is the Adongo? The Adongo is not residing in Ghana at the moment. He's nowhere to be found. He's in Europe. And for that matter, these two officers who have one way or the other their associations in development of disability sport has since yesterday been suspended from any activity which is a Paralympic or disability sports in the country for now. And then we have written to the Ghana Police Service for further investigation into this matter. I have not signed any letter since my occupying the office of Ghana Paralympic Committee since 2019. I have never signed any letter to the Norwegian embassy. I have not signed a letter to this embassy and applied for a visa for anyone. It is forged. They forged my letter. They forged my signature, and everything about this is forgery. It has nothing to do with the Ghana Paralympic Committee. It's just unfortunate that this document is itself in the media, but the truth is that Ghana Paralympic Committee has no association to this particular issue.
Unfortunate turn of events, and because time is not our best friend, we will want to leave it. We would want to leave it here, and we would pursue it further. But it's important and good that you have brought the clarification that you do not know anything about any purported letters that have been written to the Norwegian embassy here in Accra.
Yeah.
And they state clearly from the letter that we intercepted, from the National Security Minister, it's been copied to the Foreign Minister and the Youth and Sports Minister, that subsequent, applications will be affected if, obviously, this matter is not dealt with the way it must be dealt with. So you have a responsibility to make sure that the investigations are instituted by the security agency.
That is the reason why upon getting the, I even got the hint from the EU, the European office in Ghana, before the National Security and the Ministry of Youth and Sport reaching out to me. And then by then, I had already investigated the matter, and we know the people. What we want to say is that the Ghana Paralympic Committee has no hand in this. We have not engaged. We have not sent anyone to the Norwegian embassy. These two people have been reported to the Ghana Police Service. And I know that the matter will be taken up and then investigation will go into it. We shall provide the report as to what transpired, how they got my letter, how they forged them, and even the shocking aspect of it is that the Norwegian embassy granted the visa based on my letter. It is because of the letter. They earlier refused the application, and then upon receiving a letter from my office, they granted the visa. So which is something that we have to take seriously and make sure we do enough cleaning exercise within the disability front.
Thank you very much, Mr. Samson Dean. And this is a subject we will continue to pursue here at Joy Sports. We're grateful for your time, and we wish you well in France.
Thank you so much, sir.
We're all pushing just when we're all wishing well. This comes to the fore. There's surely a lot to this subject and a lot more to this story. And we here at Joy Sports are going to make sure that we get to the bottom of it. Follow us on our socials. Follow us on all our other platforms for more on this breaking story on forgery of the letterhead and the signature of the president of the African Paralympic Committee, who's also the president of Ghana's Paralympic Committee. This is how we wrap it up here on the Joy Sports Link. Thank you all so much for doing the listening. Big salutes to the legendary Uncle Ebo White on his 70th milestone. And of course, we'd like to say big salutes to the legendary Azuma Zum Zum Nelson, Professor, on his 66th milestone. There are people we can look up to in our society. Thank you all so much for making this custom. We'll be back next weekend with another Joy Sports Link. Pastor Daryl Kwao is right here ready to bring you the Joy Headline News at 2, after which Showbiz A to Z will take over. You stay well. Thanks to the whole production team here. I'll be back next week, Saturday. Keep it here on Joy 99.7. My name is Nathaniel Atto, and I have love for sport.